I'm sure a lot of you already know that this is the distraction right here. Todd Blanche is meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell again. Even though she holds all the cards, even though she has nothing that she could offer the Trump administration except to say, I won't talk about you. This isn't what we want. Anyway, she doesn't have anything we want. I mean, she knows all the clients. I mean, she trafficked girls from Mar-a-Lago. We all remember Virginia Giuffre, who killed herself in Australia. And I know people are conspiracy minded. I was too about it, because everybody just seems to die around this case, right? Just like the prosecutor of Epstein in the Florida case just died. Well, Virginia Giuffre's family has come out against those conspiracies and said that she was incredibly depressed and had been for quite a while, and it was the depression and her own demons which killed her. And they resent people continuing to say that she was murdered. So I'm going to have to, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to side with the family on this. I mean, the attorney, though, here in the United States, I'm not so sure about, okay? This is what they want us to talk about instead of the subpoena that we got an 8-2 vote to subpoena the DOJ yesterday through the Oversight Committee. Thank you, Robert Garcia. And, God, what's the Congresswoman's name? Summer Lee. Summer Lee is the one that put forward the resolution to subpoena the release of the Epstein files. And they weren't expecting it because they'd already let a bunch of people go home. Yeah, on the Epstein break, So there were so many people gone. If they would have had their regular numbers, they could have scuttled this vote. But since they didn't, Magic Mike Johnson, or as Havoc Rain calls him, Trumpo Foreskins Johnson. I love that. That is so funny. Mike Johnson, he fucked things up for Trump again. He's been making this worse and worse every single time he acts and does something. He makes it worse for him. I don't know if he's just unintelligent. I don't think he kind of seems like he is. And this job has kind of gone to his head. This is also a power play for Trump. You know it is. This is what cult leaders do. They sometimes, and they'll use circumstances to their advantage to use it as, and I think that's what he's doing with these Epstein files. He's using this as a loyalty test. Dan Bongino, he's out. He's on the outs because he doubted. He's seen the files. I'm going to tell you, when they pulled 1,000 FBI agents from their normal duties of actually fighting crime to go through 100,000 pages of the file, Epstein file, what Pam Bondi classified as a truckload of documents. All these 1,000 FBI agents, I think they brought in so many so that they could separate them, so hoping that none of them individually would see too much, right? But these files have been handled over the years by hundreds and hundreds of agents. They all know what's in them. So at this point, I don't think that they could get away with just shredding them all. I mean, I don't know. But then again, I think these people would do anything to protect their cult leader. And you can't say that this isn't what this is anymore. This guy not only is a convicted felon, but he's called for the attack of our neighbors, the invasion of Greenland, the invasion of Canada. He's bombed Iran, started a war, illegally usurping the power of Congress to declare war, which is kind of a big deal. And all the things that he's done, taken in totality, would not only sink, but embalm, bury, and rot the flesh from the bones of any politician ever in the United States. This guy is a cult leader. These people that keep looking. I'm going to tell you, my best friend is 76, and her brother is in town. And when she brought up, was talking about the Epstein thing, he actually said something about how, well, and I mean, in other cultures, it's perfectly fine to date, girls of that age. And she said, what are you talking about? I'm talking about this culture right here in America. I don't give a fuck. She's old enough to know that in this country, men used to say, if they're old enough to bleed, they're old enough to breed. It used to be as soon as a girl she started menstruating, she was old enough to get impregnated. This is what they want to return us to. This is what the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025 lead directly to. Kids working in factories again. Women breeding, being sold off in arranged marriages by their families. This is what they want. Women, they're getting rid of no-fault divorce. They don't want women to get entitled to anything in a divorce. The money is never theirs. Never theirs. It'll pass on to a son before it'll pass on to the wife. This is what they want to return us to. And this is a loyalty test. Dan Bongino was on the outs now because he didn't go along lockstep. You know, Tulsi Gabbard was brought out to humiliate her, about the when she said Obama was in that, and that didn't get any play at all on Google. Google search results show that Epstein's way up and the Obama thing was still way at the ground. It never even got a blip. Nobody's buying that shit, except the bot farms that are on, social media apps that keep talking about it. But that's it. So this has turned into a loyalty test for him. But these people are coming out against him. A lot of the right-wing influencers, they're sticking to it because they're looking at their long-range plans. They're thinking to themselves now, well, I backed this motherfucker, but he's only got four years, less than 4 years, 40 months left in office. I got to think about who's going to be my next podcast bros are like, against him. I mean, I think Charlie Kirk came out and said, no, I think we should move on. And then the next day he said, no, I can't move on. So this is toxic to him. And at this point, they're over. I think they're even done with Trump. I think they are ready to install Vance as president. That's what's going to happen right now. They're all getting in a position. Rupert Murdoch hates Donald Trump, hates him. And he actually sued Rupert Murdoch. Oh, no. That's not going to handle. That's not going to happen. They are going to install Vance because of this. So this doesn't even matter anymore. MAGA, you need to say bye-bye to Trump, and you need to say hello to Daddy Vance. And it doesn't matter if MAGA will follow him. They don't need MAGA anymore. They needed MAGA to get into the White House. Now that the White House has been captured, they don't need MAGA anymore. But MAGA just doesn't know that yet. Surprise.